All right, we are live. We are live from a stationary position today. Today is, what is it, November 24th, 2024. And this week we had a lot of stuff going on this week. Work-wise, last week was very good. Well, normal, I should say, compared to what I was accustomed to. There were some weeks, fingers crossed it goes better now. I talked to somebody who I didn't think was right when he said it, but somebody said that now that the election's settled, people know which way things are going to go, so they're more likely to spend money. And my argument was the stupid jets are flying all the time. You got to spend the money to fix them anyway. You got to maintain them. But it seems that post-election, things have gotten closer to what I would consider normal. So that's good. Went down when I had to do some stuff in my car. I had to replace 2 ignition coils. That's takes longer to describe than it takes to do, but $85 a pop, man, that's a high price, I think. Nonetheless, ran down to Dulles yesterday, did my Rumble stream, and I am now convinced that Rumble is 100% a Fed platform because one, I realized since I started my account at Rumble, I started getting emails from Gab, which I haven't posted to in years and years, and I realized that Gab is actually a Fed platform because back in the days when I was on Twitter, I used to use Google Analytics back then, and you could do your Google Analytics to see what your YouTube channel was doing and like where you got viewers from. And I would get some viewers from Twitter, but I never got anybody. Never anybody came from Gab, and I used to post to both platforms. And so driving back from Virginia last night after I realized I was driving in the car and I had my headphones plugged in, which fucked with the audio a little bit. I thought I had them plugged in. Wasn't fully plugged in, so the audio was less than ideal, and I didn't realize it till like 49 minutes in. Anyway, I'm listening. I said, hey, listen, guys, somebody come on, smash up the like button, blah, 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 blah. Because usually I'm the only one who smashes up the like button. So I finish the stream, drop off the piece, drive back, and I'm listening to it again as I'm driving home. And I noticed someone, one live viewer, actually smashed up the like button. So I was like, hey, I got 1 like. And then I added a like, so I had 2 likes. And so what, right? So I come home. I got home like 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. Went to sleep, woke up, looked at my Rumble channel today, and both of those likes were removed. And just to remind you that the granular level, there is no depth to which they will not fucking stoop. Like no depth. It's just this is the world we live in, and this is the world we have to make the best of it. We have we already got 1 viewer, Eagle Pax Max. Welcome to the show, sir. Hello, James. I have mixed feelings about Rumble. Sometimes it seems cool, and other times it seems off of it. It is definitely off. It is a Fed platform. If somebody removed the 2 fucking likes from a video I made of my channel over there that has 7 subscribers, and I get maybe my views have gone up. I get like 25 or 30 views per video, and it says like 7 unique views or 9 unique views, and I'm assuming that's people who just wander in by accident, but they don't seem to subscribe, and nobody comments. So, but the removal of the 2 likes it's a tell to me. To me, it is a tell, because stuff like that just doesn't normally happen. And we have to remember that, for people like us, for people who question the official narrative, this is really what we're doing.
You have reached the federal agent checkpoint. Remember, your FBI handler watching you has a family to feed. Keep posting and save a life today.
Well, I don't want to save the lives of the FBI because they are tyrants and parasites who live off of the taxpayer. But this is the world we live in, man. Whether there's an actual person watching, probably not, but they'll set a software bot to to monitor and maybe the certain keywords or whatever, or certain metrics. You know what I mean? Like, I don't trust the metrics here, how many viewers are watching, but I just don't trust it. I used to in the past. I used to watch it jump up and go down, and it's meaningless. They're trying to convince you that something's happening that's not happening. It's always about gaslighting you constantly, and I don't fucking care anymore. Like, it's I have my specific purpose in life, which is to destroy peacefully and legally destroy central banking. And I hope to live to see that goal, because the world will be a much, much better place when that happens. When human beings no longer accept permission slips issued by a private bank in order to conduct their affairs in life, the world will be a better fucking place. And this is just an obvious reality to anyone who's ever behaved, you know, done what you wanted in life. You know what I mean? If you ever do what you wanted without permission, you know how good that feels. Well, imagine that for the whole planet. Okay. What could be done? A lot. The reason why everything is shit these days is because everyone's paid in fucking counterfeit money. Whether it's the digital dollar or the fucking or the green pieces of paper, it's counterfeit money. They're printing it with the fucking push of a button, and people are working harder and harder, 90 fucking hours, 100 hours. The gig economy is 21st century serfdom. Uber drivers, DoorDash, all that stuff. Even what I do, I might be at a higher level of the gig economy than others, but I'm not working fucking 6 days a week, because I really like driving a fucking Toyota Matrix, or I really enjoy having somebody sign a slip of paper for aircraft parts. I'm not doing it really because I like delivering shit. I'm doing it because I need the fiat, I need the money to survive. And that's going to be for a while yet. This week, to anyone that was paying attention, Bitcoin got to 99,000 and change. Then it's backed off. Thanksgiving, obviously, we're going to have a turkey stuffed with Bitcoin or whatever. We're going to hit 100K, and things just really started to get interesting, super interesting to me. The stuff that I'm paying attention to is, of course, different from what a lot of other people are paying attention to. But I have a similar idea, well, not a similar idea. I have a similar intention as this guy, but I wouldn't do this. See this guy here? This is some, I don't know. I looked at the article for 2 seconds. Some Middle Eastern dude that, of course, was probably communicating with his friends on the internet, like, yeah, man, let's blow up the stock exchange. And of course, his friends were FBI agents. And right before he blows up the stock exchange, which, by the way, was bombed in the 1920s by supposedly by a German anarchist. I have a feeling that he was the type of German that didn't eat pork. But this guy wants to blow up the stock exchange. The New York Stock Exchange, downtown at Wall Street, that's like basically it's a TV studio. It's not even a real, nothing even happens there anymore. But instead of doing that, instead of doing something violent and criminal, which I do not suggest you do, I suggest you buy Bitcoin instead, and you will destroy central banking anyway, because Wall Street is an outgrowth of central banking. You can peacefully and legally destroy Wall Street for real without ever getting a free pair of silver handcuffs from the federal government. You don't have to worry about dropping the soap. You don't have to worry about joining a gang. You don't have to worry about, being raped in your cell. You can live a free and happy life and still destroy central banking without ever breaking any law. And that is an absolutely fucking wonderful fucking thing. What do we got? I got so much fucking stuff. 2020 hindsight, man. There's so much. game theory, right? Who's going to win? How do you win this game? Do you act? Are you passive? Are you aggressive? What do you do? The reason why Trump is saying he wants the Bitcoin made in America, I think this is why. I think this is a big driver because in China, which if people remember, in 2016 supposedly banned Bitcoin mining, but they didn't really ban it entirely. They just banned it for some people. They have now, a court in Shanghai has declared that Bitcoin is legal to own, that it is property legal to own, which is super fucking interesting. It's super interesting because now the corrupt elites of America have to compete with the corrupt elites of China for Bitcoin. And that's, you know, when I say that Bitcoin is going to destroy fiat currency, that was its intention. That's what it was designed to fucking do. And they're at the point where, or the federal government's at the point where they've tried to kill it and they failed, and they're going to try and embrace it and I don't know, ride the tiger or something. But this is a global game with all sorts of players going to be doing all sorts of things, and I am very certain that shit's going to absolutely fucking spin out of control. This Bitcoin legal stock strategic stockpile thing, which I thought was bullshit until the rich people started piling on and all these other people started piling on. BlackRock doesn't know what to think. Van Eck is all for it. This is a big mutual fund. And BlackRock is like, yes, no, we're for it. No, maybe, we're no, maybe, I don't know. Yes, no, maybe, I'm not sure. This is, so you can have corporations and all these people trying to get hold of this asset. They're going to be selling dollars and acquiring or selling, worse, treasury bonds, worse for the federal government, selling bonds and buying Bitcoin. You know, this is, you know, I showed this a couple of weeks ago. It's comical. It's a cute little meme. It's probably not even that popular, but the fight is on. There's competition now for your economic energy, for the value that you create, whether it's you as an individual or as a corporation or a nation state. And these people who have never had to compete will have to fucking compete. And it's going to be fucking beautiful to watch because, you know, it's the empire's falling apart. You know what I mean? I keep showing this over and over again, but you know, when I see this and I think of what I understand of history, how expensive it is to maintain a big Navy. You know, the Navy, the U.S. Navy, the aircraft carrier that they had in the Red Sea has left. So they're like, okay, peace out, we're leaving. So they didn't, and it's funny, the guy who wrote the article is Jake Epstein. But you know, it's leaving without ever having accomplished its mission, even though it probably didn't have a specific mission. But we're in a position where we can't squash this threat, right? And whoever the Navy commander says, well, this Red Sea combat has generated a new doctrine. Yeah, translation, we don't know how to solve this fucking problem. We don't have the ability to solve this problem. And that is very, very, very telling. They can still put the carriers off the coast of China and scare the fuck out of the Chinese, but there's kind of an abscess, a building, a problem that's building and getting worse for you know, for us, because we're spending, and we will probably spend ourselves into oblivion playing security guard for look who's in the chat, for the very same people. This is Ukrainians are Proto-Mesopotamians. This guy's like Unit 8200 of fucking, I wonder what time it is. Tell me what time it is in Tel Aviv, prick. Ukrainians are Proto-Mesopotamians. Houthis surrendered. This is fucking intel agency fucking fan fiction. I seen shit like this in my YouTube, not my YouTube, my Instagram feed. There was what they claim it was, they claimed that there was an uprising in Venezuela and everybody had shut down the airports and this and that. And it showed a video. I was like, what? When the fuck did this happen in Venezuela? But it's fucking CIA fan fiction. They put this shit up like it's happening, and of course, it's not happening. But these guys, man, they're deep into their fantasy world because they think all their dreams are going to come true without them even having to try. But I assure you, it's going to be much different than you think. Very different than you think. These people are afraid of everything. They're jumping at their shadows. You know what I mean? Here's an article in the Jerusalem Post. My peoples, getting getting a little energetic in the homeland. You know what I mean? And personal threats to Israelis and Jews remain. I don't know. Greeks will write at the drop of a hat, and they have been historically wise to the JQ. But we've got to talk about, man, we've got to talk about so much fucking shit. How do I get through it all with the fucking feds in the chat? How do I get through it all? The feds are wrong. I'm right. And I'm going to prove it again and again and again. US Fed Gov tried to kill Bitcoin, failed. Now they've embraced it. They've sent out this is one of their, this dude is fucking hairballed, and I'm going to show in a minute. Probably a member of the tribe, speaks with absolute authority as if he knows what's going to happen, as if my words create reality, or whatever fucking dumbass fucking Hebrew bullshit floats underneath your fucking yarmulke. But, and no one calls these cocksuckers out. I mean, I will, of course, but these people are going to be ridiculed forever, particularly if I could find out I don't even know who this guy is, but it's very sweet to me with Bitcoin hanging around the $98,000, $99,000 level and about to go way higher. It's very sweet when I see video clips like this.
It's Bitcoin at 16,000. It has another 17,000 to go down.
Duh, really?
Yeah, there's no intrinsic value to this product.
They play that fucking, what's that, Larry David music, Larry David, that guy that had the fuck Curb Your Enthusiasm TV show. So that's a fucking great meme, throwing that on somebody who's as wrong as the Jew in the chat right now. That fucking wrong. Although they're gonna try. They're gonna try. Let's go. Let's talk about what they're gonna try to do. Even though I believe that I know for a fact that the world is about to be a much better place in the future. The red team, Team Communism, the favored team of the central bankers. They love red team more than anything else. But red team fails a lot, and they have to use blue team or more competent mercenaries to get things to happen. But red team still has plenty of muscle. In particular, within the court system. The whole idea of the laws is that there's a law. We all have to follow it, a set of rules we all have to follow, and that the rules are pretty much inviolate. You can't just randomly change them when you want. But we all know that they can change them whenever they want. And so this Jussie Smollett's conviction overturned by Illinois Supreme Court. It took them forever to bring any charges against this is like a gay dindu who was on some TV show, and he claimed that two white guys beat him up wearing MAGA hats and put a rope around his neck, blah, 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 blah. And there's some shitty fucking body cam video where he supposedly, after getting his ass kicked and running for his life, calls the police from his apartment in Chicago. And when the police come in with their body cams on, he still has the rope around his neck. It is such incredibly shitty communist theater that, people, I think, in the future will not believe it was this bad, but it was this bad. So you have that. And then a bunch of people from January 6th have all gotten, they're still convicting the January 6th people, and Trump, faggot that he is, saying, well, we might consider some pardons on a case-to-case basis. And that means there's one black dude who used to be a football player, used to be a sports ball guy, who was involved in the January 6th thing. So he's probably going to get a pardon. but all the white people, they're doing federal time. So yeah, the left still has a lot of juice, and we end that by ending the dollar. Okay, and I'm going to show two relatively long videos, but this shows how these fucking lunatics are running on. But you want to see a preview of 2025 and going forward, or 2026, 2027, the Trump's second term. I'm going to show you some stuff. Got some thoughts on it. We'll do it one at a time. But wait a minute. You know what? Wait a minute. Let's do. Hold on. Do I still have it? Fuck. Oh fuck! And I got somebody yelling outside my apartment. Stop yelling, you prick. Okay. Hold on. I got stuff. I got fucking so much shit. I had an article how in Russia, the Russians have to lock up butter. You know how they're locking up groceries in America? Well, they're locking up groceries in Russia too. And the difference between Russia today and Russia under real communism is there's actually butter in the stores for people to steal. But this is, and I mentioned this on my Rumble channel. This is the level. When you sit for a moment and think of the level of hysterically stupid propaganda. I'm gonna show you an example of something which I think I first saw this in the 90s, but this was a super duper fucking big deal in the Intel community. That's like cool music. They played out a lot on old Soviet stuff, old Russian stuff. So 1951, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics detonated its first atomic weapon, which is amazing because, you know, in 1945, they were completely fucking destroyed by the German army. Or so we thought. But apparently, not only did they rebuild the whole country, they had extra resources left over to do so much nuclear research and catch up to America like that. And today they can't keep butter they still can't keep butter on their shelves. But that was like super secret. The red bomb. Oh my God. Oh, the hyper classified. You know, they blow smoke up your ass to make you think you're seeing something, and you're seeing nothing. We handed them everything. All of that, literally every fucking thing, probably including the fucking movie camera they filmed it with, a color movie camera. I guarantee you came from fucking Hollywood to film that thing. We handed them on a fucking silver platter every motherfucking thing, step-by-step fucking plans and the material to build that fucking, okay? And that was their main concern while the rest of the country was fucking destroyed. Absolutely fucking destroyed. So they're going to convince you that this is one thing when it's really another thing. And you see that like, oh boy, super secret, the Russian nuclear test. How could it be secret when we handed it to them? You know what I mean? Who is it a fucking surprise to? You know, the dorks at fucking CIA to be certain. But you know, it's just shit. It's just absolute shit. It's always going to be shit. And they're still doing it, right? I mean, I've shown you Patriot Front stuff. I showed you Richard Spencer stuff. I got a Mossad video, probably the fucking Ukrainian, the twat in the chat. This might even be him. You know what I mean? But I saw this video came across my Instagram feed. I'm like, what the fuck? And then luckily I grabbed onto it because I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I question, and I don't know why. I don't always save it, but I do save some stuff. And this one, I absolutely saved. Keep Richard Spencer in mind. Keep Richard Spencer, that video I showed you. Keep Richard Spencer in mind while I show you Europe.
Europe! Europe here! Fuck up, Arad! This is Europe! Europe! Europe, European! Fuck off!
Man, do I love video cameras. So there's a pro-Palestine protest somewhere in Europe, and then two Europeans just run out of the street and attack, try to pull the flag away, right? And they kind of get pushed back because I don't think the protesters expected it at all. And those two twats work for Mossad. They're 100% fucking. They're entirely Mossad. The guy starts screaming, "This is Europe! This is Europe!" Well, look at the real Europeans, the people sitting around doing nothing, like not really giving a fuck, having their little coffees and smoking cigarettes. Those are the real Europeans. They're not moved to fucking rush in and attack people, like two people, a man and a woman. They're going to charge into a group of 20, 50, 100 and start attacking them. Like nobody does this. This never fucking happens in a million motherfucking years. Unless you have absolute confidence that they don't know that nothing's going to fucking happen to you. And luckily, someone happens to be filming the whole thing, right? They just catch the whole thing. And the guy screaming, "This is Europe, this is Europe." And then he goes, Sieg Heil, because he's a Jew and they got Hitler on the brain. They got like Hitler fucking running around the brain all the time. So he just has to throw that shit in there. Like in Europe, you can't even say Hitler. You can't talk about Hitler. You can't talk about World War. You can't talk about anything. That's forbidden. You can't question what the German army did or didn't do. You're not allowed to question it. And this guy's going to throw up not one, but two Roman salutes screaming in the middle of the street while the people sitting around. There's a dude riding his bicycle. People watching a protest. They're like, Europeans, they're not going to be moved by this. That's what they're really going to do. They're going to sit and watch, smoke their Gaulois cigarettes. You know what I mean? So those two are fucking total fucking Mossad, right? A guy and his girlfriend, and they jump in, right? And the girlfriend's going to fight with them. She doesn't go, "Oh my God, honey, stop. This is crazy." You know, she's right in there fucking with them and she's screaming, "Fuck you, fuck you." And they walk away. This is another thing that never fucking happens in a million motherfucking years. Two people attack 20 people and just walk away, like they don't turn back and look. Oh shit! Are they fucking coming? Are they fucking coming after us? Which is any normal person would do. But if you're a trained intelligence agent doing elite counter-terror operations on the streets, on the mean streets of wherever the fuck that is, it's probably fucking Amsterdam. I don't know where it is. I see bicycles. I think about Holland. Like it's just bullshit. These two fucking dorks got a fucking medal for doing that. They've got something like a secret medal from fucking whatever, the Shin Bet. You know, it's so fucking shitty fucking theater. Shit tier, you know, communist fucking theater, fucking central banker fucking puppets pretending, yes, I fought a war. I charged headlong into a fucking crowd of 20 terrorists, you know, which is just people going, "Hey, could you stop fucking killing women and children? Could you stop dropping fucking napalm on little kids, white phosphorus? Could you just maybe stop, you know?" So that's their fucking thing, right? That's just like the Richard Spencer video, just like the Patriot Front videos, shitty fucking videos. They put them in social media now, again, like I said in the beginning, to try and shape how you see the world and what you think is happening. Like the Europeans, you know, those Nazi-loving Europeans are against the Palestinians. Not even close to true, right? It's also historically inaccurate, as Germany had a lot of Arabic allies back in the day. But if you have a narrow knowledge base, right? If you don't know anything about history, you have a narrow knowledge base, they can fucking spoon feed you tons and tons of bullshit. And that's what they're going to try and do. Will it work? No, it really won't work. It doesn't work on anyone. Nobody fucking buys into that. But it isn't just a couple of fucking shitty Mossad dorks who decided to leave the fucking office and you know, God knows how they had to rev themselves up to fucking do that. There's big money in Los Angeles, California, looking to create a worldview and get people to behave in a certain specific way. So let's talk about Russia, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics in the 1950s, the old commies. Guess what, kids? What's old is everything old is new again. Check this out. I got a bunch of stuff to say about this.
I click leave on porch. Your subordinates will be reported to DoorDash HQ.
Alexei, it's me. Open up.
Milena?
Hold on!
Elena!
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about the wait. It was on an important call. Highly classified. Lot of work. Many irons in fire.
You feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled. But why do you ask this? What brings you here?
There is something wrong with me. An emptiness. I'm just drifting. And I don't have purpose. I thought throwing myself into work was the answer.
When your feet are on the air, your head on the ground. Yeah.
Oh no.
Who are you?
I'm Bob.
Who sent you, Bob?
Nobody. You were all sent?
Everyone here has done bad things. Shadow ops. Robbing government labs. Contract kills.
Yeah, so?
So, someone wants us gone. What the hell?
We're brought up with this belief that there are good guys and there are bad guys.
What's the plan?
This could get messy.
But eventually, you come to realize that there are bad guys and there are worse guys and nothing else. Look at you. So adorable.
Don't worry, she's bulletproof.
What happened to bulletproof?
It's bulletproof-ish!
Is that Bucky?
That's not good.
Comrades, do not be disheartened. The 1950s Soviet era KGB have had kids and they're coming back and they're your new heroes, right? And their director is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who, I don't know if you know this, she's Jewish. She's a wealthy socialite who drinks a lot, and she's going to direct this band of terrorists and murderers and thieves, and they're your new heroes. There's no such things as good guys or bad guys. There's only bad guys and worse guys. So if you've lost your idealism, comrades, you'll get it back in the 21st century as we reignite, the communist ideal. How amazing. And it's Marvel Studios, right? It's new superheroes, all new superheroes. That's incredibly shitty. And who are they fighting when they're all locked in that whatever the chamber, and they're fighting each other, but they're also fighting what looks like robots or AI things? Yeah, they're fighting the future. So the commies are not communist violence, not going away. The Red Terror will come back, presented to American audiences, fictional Soviet superheroes from yesteryear come to save the day, or I don't know, make it a different day from your high-tech world. And then, of course, there's Dork Boy who wanders into the whole thing, who I guess is the romantic interest of the chick with the short hair, whatever. And she's all girl power, right? She goes, there's 20 fucking guys with rifles, and she shoots them all with a pistol, and she jumps off the fucking wall and karate chops them. Girl power. Although it is a very pasty movie, it's quite a pasty movie. Don't you you melanin enhanced individuals worry. Do not worry, because we got something for you. Hollywood been hard at work, and all of this stuff amazingly coming out just when Trump's second term starts. Remember how Trump got his shit pushed in by by George Floyd and all, Antifa and all of that. They fucking, they showed what a punk he is. That's why I showed that Trump video. Listen, guys like me eat bitches like you for lunch, and then he gets knocked into next fucking week. Well, I strongly guess it's my guess, based partially on that trailer. And I realized it was a long trailer. There's a shorter, sort of more coherent version, but it was part of a much, much longer coming attractions video that was like fucking 30 minutes long. And I didn't want to cut out the 90 seconds that was good. So I said, I found that 3-minute version. Fuck it, throw the 3-minute version up. Okay. But like I said, they're a bit pasty, and there aren't really enough Caucasians who are deep into this communism shit. So, well, they could be, but if they won't go 100% for communism, let's at least get them to burn the Constitution or destroy America. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but this is also coming to a theater near you. It's all new, the all-new Captain America.
You asked for me. Here I am.
You want to help me?
Is there anything you remember?
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Thaddeus Ross.
Whatever this is, Cap, be careful. What do we know?
There were 5 shooters. This was a coordinated terrorist attack, sir.
I was a wartime general. Now I'm a wartime president.
Your inner circle's been compromised. Let me fix it.
Watch yourself. You're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
Wait for it.
We're on the brink of war. I can't trust anyone. Nothing about this feels right.
Captain America. You ever ask yourself, who's playing who?
Someone's been pulling the strings on everything.
You're under arrest?
I don't want a variable out there that I can't control.
Stop!
Captain America caught without his wings.
You like to play dress up and blindly execute the state's orders.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
What if this is a trap?
You don't even know what this is.
Since when were they red?
You want me? Come and get me!
Just in time for Black History Month. Isn't that incredible? We got a Black Captain America, evil Whitey as Harrison Ford, the evil white president who becomes like the Hulk, but he's like red. That shows that he's, like light skin. Like white people get red when they get angry. More girl power. She jumps against the wall. She's spinning and flipping. Some karate chops. She shoots a few guys. Girl power. Ooh, we're going to take down the evil old white patriarchy or whatever the fuck. Both of these propaganda films, and these are much higher budgets. There was a lot more cocaine snorted. You know what I mean? There's a lot more CGI in these two things than the Mossad. This is Europe. This is Europe. But really the same people behind it, right? The people who brought you Thunderbolts and Captain Crackhead. This is what the second Trump presidency is going to be like. You're going to look back at this. Name of this stream, 2020 Hindsight. You're going to look back at this and go, holy fuck, how did he know? I know because I just looked at what they're doing, and this is what they'd like to see happen. How well will they succeed? I don't know. Probably not that well. Probably not that well. Although they have the ear of government. Whereas this is, if you remember, let's go with let's go with this reminder as a screen share. Lawsuit alleging Elon Musk rigged Dogecoin is dropped. So if you remember, Elon Musk and a bunch of others put a lot of money into Dogecoin a couple of years back and pumped it from like 4 cents to 75 cents. And then, of course, rug pulled everyone and got away with it. The people tried to sue him, but the lawsuit was dropped and he was found not guilty. All done. Ha ha, you got rugged. Well, Elon Musk, as we know, is back. He's Donald Trump's new best friend. And he's in charge of, what's he in charge of? He's in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. Wow. He. Look how funny. Ha ha ha. How clever. The Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. Isn't that hilarious, kids? Isn't it just fucking hilarious? What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? Well, thankfully, other people do this shit for me, though unknowingly. There are people who are not quite as big a fan of Elon Musk as I am, and this guy put together a 90-second video, which I wish he would just be a little slower in his delivery. I think he's a little too anxious. A few more dramatic pauses would help, but still in all, quality information.
Elon Musk is a weird loser, but is he a scam? Find out on my recurring segment. Is it a scam? Yep. He's been around Silicon Valley for a long time, first being fired as the CEO of X-Bank and then being kicked out as the CEO of PayPal. But he's most known for founding Tesla. And by founding, I mean not founding, investing, kicking out the founders, and then later making a large settlement that allowed him to claim he was the founder. But his true passions are saying things out loud that aren't true and making predictions that don't happen. In 2011, he said we'd be to Mars in 10 years. Then in 2017, he said we'd be there by 2022. He's constantly claimed that we were moments away from full self-driving cars. He also said that by 2020, if you buy a Tesla, it will be able to work during the day without your help as a robo-taxi, going so far as to showing a completely fake app. In 2014, he promised that your car would be able to swap its battery within minutes so that he could get a bunch of government subsidies, numerous tunnel projects, and then ghosted all of the cities he was working with. The only tunnel he did build was in Las Vegas, which he said would be fully autonomous, but instead is just a guy in a car will drive you very slowly in traffic. He also later admitted that he made up the Hyperloop promise just to get California to stop working on high-speed rail. He promised that COVID would be over by April 2020, that Twitter would have 1 billion monthly users by 2023, that Starlink speeds would double by 2021, that solar tiles would be available at some point, and he personally promised to fix the Flint water crisis. But did he do that? Nope. And I know it's possible that he's not actually lying about all of these things. He's just a dumb person. So he's a fake founder who either lies about everything or doesn't understand any of the projects he's working on. But is he a scam? Yep.
Is he a scam? Yeah. So there's a brief rundown of Elon Musk's history, not including the family owns an emerald mine, not including the raised by Jews and brought up to be Shavos. This is the guy who's going to be running the Department of Governmental Efficiency, and basically he's going to be looking to take a match to the Constitution. You know what I mean? And extend America's ability to borrow money to pay for the globalist superstate that we are. Will it work? I don't know. I do not entirely know, but I don't think so, because what do we got, man? We got so much stuff. Because everybody everywhere is starting to figure this out. When I talk about game theory and I talk about Bitcoin and how does this affect all of it, we're going to get there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Remember my buddies? They're not really my buddies, but the dudes at FarmTube. Remember I showed that video that the fat guy from FarmTube said, "Hey, we're getting a Bitcoin ATM," and I seen this little Hispanic guy and his family sending money overseas. Well, FarmTube, the FarmTubers, now that they've discovered such a thing as Bitcoin, are having a little chat amongst the hay bales.
There have been hating on the Bitcoin. It's coming back. The people that have been just salting it away, they're feeling pretty damn good.
There's an NFL football player, an offensive lineman for the Panthers, that wanted all his salary in Bitcoin. Russell Okung took half of his salary in Bitcoin in 2020. So he has now turned his $6.5 million into $45 million.
Holy mother Mary.
Smart cat there. Who knows where it goes? You know, who knows how far it goes? It's like, do you sell it? Do you not? At this point, I think Bitcoin has had so many bull runs that it's just like, it's starting to build up this track record and this history of, you better just hold on to it.
You better just hold on to it. When the boys inside the hay bales have got this figured out, it's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. It's game theory. Will rule everything. Will rule everything. Now we have to beat up on Michael Saylor, who I am very unhappy with. You know, I've criticized him in the past, but at this point, he's gone so fucking far. I remember some dumb shit he said a while back, which kind of vaguely stuck in my head. I don't have video of. But I'm going to show you that Saylor and the cult of dick riding billionaires, as the millennials would say, the bootlickers, those who would bow down to those who have a lot of material wealth, in hopes that they'll be rewarded. When you do that, you put yourself in the company of people who are really not as smart as you think they are, right? And looking back, St. Michael is going to he's going to fall. They're going to have quite a fall. Well, I'm certain of it. He's willing to go anywhere and talk to anyone, including putting himself in really fucking stupid situations that a billionaire shouldn't get into. But when you're absolutely your mind is completely fucking warped by the desire for more. Remember, this guy's a multi-billionaire. Then you end up in a situation like this, and this dude is the exact opposite of the NFL bro who took his salary in Bitcoin.
You mentioned you met Satoshi in Seattle in 1993. Yes. He also came to you in a dream. You have a nice relationship with Satoshi.
I feel like I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a story to tell. Definitely have an opportunity to meet him back in 1993.
Did you have a chance to meet him in Seattle at any point?
I have not met Satoshi.
So there's fucking Sailor. He's on stage with the black dude, Scottie Pippen. I think he was on the Chicago Bulls basketball team back in the 90s. And listen, some brothers are just completely fronted. They're all front, all caps, or whatever you want to say. They're lying through their fucking teeth nonstop. This is why nobody can fucking stand them. The Jews love them because they have similar attitudes towards the world, which is let me lie my fucking ass off. And Sailor, you see Sailor looks at him like, what the fuck? You met Satoshi in 1993. There was no Satoshi in 1993, right? Or whoever the guy was alive, but and when you're in a situation where you're so desperate to fucking get what you want that you won't go, whoa, what the fuck did you just say? You get shit really, really, really twisted. Really twisted. So I got two Sailor clips that are, which one am I gonna do first? They're so fucking dumb. I mean, like dumb, like straight up dumb, that you think this guy's gotta be fucking being deceptive. But I don't think he's terribly good at deception other than self-deception. But these two clips will eventually fucking haunt Michael Saylor. Let's go with this. No, wait, which one? Let's fucking, goddamn it. I want to get it in the right order. It does make a difference.
I know wealthy people, they own 16 estates on the Eastern Shore, and they live in 2 of them. Like, why do they buy them? They land banking. What does that mean? Well, the guy makes a lot of money every year, and he doesn't want to put it in a savings account, so he goes and he just buys a cool piece of property, and he buys another one. Well, okay, it sounds good, but here's the problem. The guy buys up the beautiful pieces of property, so you can't afford it. And if the rich guy wasn't buying up all the beautiful houses, they would cost half as much. So here's what happens. Some rich dude has 27 houses that are empty. You don't have a beautiful house. You have a family. Your kids, your dog could use the beautiful house. The rich dude doesn't even want the house. He just wants a long-term capital preservation strategy, right? And so that's a perverse incentive and a distorted economy. That's broken money. That's because the rich dude is using an estate on the Eastern Shore of Maryland as a piggy bank.
Okay, so I'm sure Sailor hangs around with rich dudes. He's a rich dude. And I'm sure he knows people that own 64 houses on the shores of Maryland. But you can't afford one of those. And that's not the reason why you can't afford a house. The reason why you can't afford a house is because the money printer go burr. And BlackRock and its subsidiaries and all these Wall Street private equity firms, and some are publicly traded firms, have literally bought 25% of the housing stock in America. That's why you can't afford a house. And the fact that you have to work longer and harder to get less money. And the value of real estate has accelerated faster than the average salary. So his analysis is so fucking wrong. Some rich dude owns 27 houses, so you can't have one. Yeah, that's not accurate, not even fucking close to accurate. So Saylor not sounding like a genius there. He's trying to make an appeal to a relatively wide audience, people who don't own homes and would like to have home ownership. You and your family can't have nice things because some rich guy is putting all his money into real estate. Not exactly true. Not exactly true. And I think that's bad. This next one is worse, in my opinion. And this is where we have to clip St. Michael's wings really forever. Like I said, he's been wrong about a bunch of stuff in the last year, and now he's just fucking out of his mind. But he's still useful. Don't get me wrong, he's still useful. But I'm going to show you how extreme wealth so completely fucks your brain that you can that you just, anyone ever holds up a mirror to you and it will destroy you. Here's another minute of Sailor being dumb as a fucking bag of hammers.
The most pernicious thing you can do to someone is you make them think that they're just not smart enough, and the reason they're failing is because they're not smart and they don't work hard enough. And then you realize, no, the system is rigged against you. So what does the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve mean? Once the United States embraces Bitcoin as the world's reserve capital network and it builds that Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, the path is open for corporations in the United States to recapitalize on Bitcoin. And the path is open for banks to recapitalize on Bitcoin. And now corporations don't have to die. Banks don't have to die. For an endowment and for a family and for a private company, it's your choice if you choose the asset which is going up 60% a year or the asset which is going down 6% a year. That's your choice. But it was never a choice for the banks in the US. It was never a choice for operating companies in the US. And so what Senator Lummis is doing is really much more profound than we're going to buy some Bitcoin.
Wow. There's a pernicious, meaning intentional, and hidden agenda to make you think you're not smart enough and you don't work hard enough. And that's why you can't succeed. And Bitcoin changes this. So the banks and the big corporations, which didn't have the choice, they were denied. Those evil, I don't know who's denying banks the choice. Like, the system is rigged. Corporations and banks hardest hit, right? That's like when our friends with the small hats, who are not our friends, they're always victim number one. Well, in Sailor's mind, corporations and big banks are victim number one, right? We're the real victims. You don't understand. These multinational, multi-billion, trillion-dollar companies, they're the real victims. You lucky plebs who never even fucking heard of Bitcoin and who don't even know it exists and think that the green pieces of paper are real money, you have it easy. It's those of us like Michael Saylor. By the way, his company owns 3 private jets, I've been told. He doesn't own them, but his company has 3 jets. So I've been told by people who supply parts to his company. This is a guy who, has a private jet to go wherever he wants, whenever he wants. Him and his friends with 64 houses are hardest hit, by this rigged system. And you think to yourself, you hear that and you go, no fucking way. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how wrong could you possibly be? How wrong could you possibly be? There's literally no level of wrong that you could possibly be, right? Everybody knows that January 3rd, 2009, Bitcoin was launched. And in the first block, the very first block ever mined, this headline from the Times of London was included specifically by Satoshi. Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. This was during the economic crisis of 2008, 2009. This is what Bitcoin was launched into. Bitcoin was launched as a reaction to banks which get bailed out. Banks that should have died because they made bad loans and were kept alive by stealing from the taxpayer in order to recapitalize the banks. Too big to fail. This is literally the Genesis block. And you can see it if you go back in the blockchain. If you want to dig into this, you can go back to the Genesis block, the very first block of Bitcoin, and you will see this headline. This is the exact fucking opposite of what Michael Saylor just said. Now corporations and banks won't have to die. Satoshi created Bitcoin to kill the banks and their allies, the corporations. That's why Bitcoin was created. And he's so fucking twisted up in his fucking head that he's like, oh, Bitcoin saves us. He's not really as smart as people think he is. He's just really rich, and everyone kisses his ass. And no one's going to dare criticize him, because if you criticize him, that woman, that's Natalie Brunell, she's Polish, her parents grew up under communism, and she's like, Bitcoin info chickie now. So she's got a career, but she has access to this guy, and she's not going to push back against this. She's just going to smile and nod, because if you go, hey, dumb fuck, what about the fucking headline that Satoshi included in the Genesis block? Isn't that directly in opposition to what you just said? And if you say that, it will irritate him and make him look stupid, and he will never give you that interview again. So bootlicking the billionaires comes with you having to give up your ideals, right? Bitcoin was not created for corporations and big banks. It was not, okay? It wasn't really, was, I guess, ultimately created, to buy pizza, but don't be like the pizza bro, the guy who gave 10,000 Bitcoins to buy 2 Papa John's pizzas. That mistake at this point cost that guy about $1 billion. And I think of this dude a lot, and there's these other people that have lost an insane amount of Bitcoin and what it's valued at right now. And I always wonder, did they get back in? Did they get back in? Or did they sit there going, oh my God, I fucked up my life so bad, and they didn't get back in? Like the English guy who lost 1,000 Bitcoins in a landfill. Did he ever go home and think, well, fuck it, I better smash up the buy button anyway and try to rebuild my stack? Or did he not get back in and just go, no, I'm going to find that 1,000 Bitcoin and be rich? I'm curious about that. I'm super curious about that. Questions probably never be answered, but really, really interesting to me. So when I say that, for real, Bitcoin was designed to destroy the banks and the corporations in central banking. Like, I am not joking. Okay. And I mentioned this on the Rumble channel, and I actually caught somebody clipped this guy, and it's so fucking beautiful that they clipped this dude. I got a 90-second video of some guy, can't remember his name, from a company that a bank either in Pennsylvania or makes loans in Pennsylvania. But here's how Bitcoin is going to change things you didn't think it could change faster than you think they could be changed. And check out this clip for 90 seconds and understand this thing is going to be in places doing things you didn't fucking think was even possible. And that's a good thing.
He combined a seasoned multifamily asset in Philadelphia, about 50 meters away from the first bank of the United States, the one that Alexander Hamilton started. We combined that asset with around 20 Bitcoin. And we provided a loan to refinance the existing mortgage on the property, to provide the asset sponsor some funding for capital improvements, and with the remainder to buy the 20 Bitcoin.
Okay, we got to go backwards.
Go ahead.
You got to go backwards. We're just going to slow the whole thing down so everybody understands what happened. Okay. So there's a property.
Yep.
Physical property.
Multifamily. Right. Multifamily. 63 units.
It's a multifamily property. The sponsor, effectively the owner of that property.
Yep.
Needs a loan.
That's right.
Okay. They come to you.
That's right.
Okay. You say, we'll provide you the loan in the form of
a loan.
A classic loan.
That's right.
Okay. So you're going to give them cash.
That's right. Term financing.
Term financing. And how long's the loan? Just
10 years.
10-year loan. Okay.
That's right.
At above market rate or below, or what's
no
the
market rate interest rate?
I'm just trying to slow the whole thing. Okay, now let's introduce the Bitcoin piece into it.
That's right.
So no, explain how the Bitcoin piece
And
then
why?
relates. So the loan has been provided.
The use of proceeds is to pay off the existing financing. So
the use of the proceeds
of the loan is to retire the existing mortgage.
Right. So there's an old mortgage.
Gone.
They're going to pay the old mortgage off.
That's been paid off.
Okay.
Now they have a little bit extra money to make some improvements in the property.
Okay, so banks can't own Bitcoin right now, but they can make you own Bitcoin. So what this guy's saying is somebody with an apartment building right down the street from where Alexander Hamilton started the first bank of the United States, which failed. But literally, this to me is this is delicious. They're making a conventional loan. We want to borrow money to fix up this apartment building and blah 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 blah. And the bank says, okay, we'll do that, but you have to buy and hold 20 Bitcoins for 4 years. And the reason why they say that is because over 4 years, the price of Bitcoin increases dramatically and has increased dramatically. Well, why are they making the borrower do that? One, the bank cannot legally hold the Bitcoin itself, not yet. But two, they don't want the fucking building. They want the money back, right? They want, the building is the collateral, but they don't want the fucking building. Banks want your money. They want you to pay them back in money. They don't want to take your house. They don't want to take the thing. They want the fucking money. So if you default, if you fail to pay the loan back, they'll get the Bitcoin, and you have to hold the Bitcoin for at least 4 years. And you're not going to hold it entirely. It's going to be part of the loan package. But they will get the price appreciation of the Bitcoin will hedge or reduce their downside, their loss, if you fail to pay back the loan. Now, if the price of Bitcoin skyrockets and you want to pay the loan off early, you can do that, and the bank gets the money, and that's what they always wanted. They either get the price appreciation of the Bitcoin, or when you default, I don't know how it would happen, they get the Bitcoin that has now appreciated, and they can sell that Bitcoin and make another loan. This is fucking genius. The fact that the first loan of its kind happened 500 feet from Alexander Hamilton's bank is fucking, that to me is like fucking, that's poetry. It's fucking poetry. I love it. It's fucking, it's just fucking perfect. And stuff like this is going to happen more and more and more and more and more and more, because for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure, but listen, U.S. Fed Gov has decided they're going to embrace Bitcoin. I've said it in the past. You know, the CIA loves fucking Bitcoin the way Negroes love crack, the way Jews love fucking cheating people out of fucking money, right? Trump has picked, I don't know who this chick is. She's going to be the head of the SEC, and she posted, "Let's make crypto great again." So the Fed Gov is entirely behind Bitcoin. And between that and, I got another Sailor video, another relatively short Sailor video. And this is why Sailor, for all the shit that he's fucking wrong about, and he's wrong about, he's distorted and twisted shit up in his head. This is the use of guys like Sailor. You know, when back in the day when I used to read all these fucking message boards and everything was like, this is good for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down. This is good for Bitcoin. This happened. That happened. This is good for Bitcoin. Mt. Gox got hacked. This is good for Bitcoin. And I was like, why the fuck do these fucking retards constantly post this shit? I didn't understand at the time, but I do understand now. When you zoom out, all of this noise doesn't matter, because as long as Bitcoin continues, this ultimately becomes grist for the mill. And now you need somebody like Sailor, or maybe more than one, would eventually pop up and do what, when I show you Sailor is going to do, what he did on live national television. And this is going to kicking off the real game theory. There are a bunch of people that heard this last week and their brains are on fire now. And this is, this is good for Bitcoin.
Over the last 2 weeks, Andrew, we've generated $5.4 billion in BTC gains. We're making $500 million a day. I'm staring at my screen, and we're selling dollar bills for $3, sometimes a million times a minute. And so it's not impossible. I mean, we may very well be the most profitable company in the United States, growing the fastest right now, because there's not many companies that are making $500 million a day doing what they're doing. And so if you don't like Bitcoin, you don't want any piece of it. But if you like Bitcoin, then this is a monster for you.
So do you hear the sailor? He's peeved, how they're like, we're making $500 million a day. If you don't like Bitcoin, well, fuck you, and we need somebody like that. That's what's necessary to get people to sell dollars and to sell treasury bonds, to pour all of that wealth into Bitcoin. We're making $500 million a day. We're selling $1 bills for $3. We're making triple our investment. A lot of people heard this and they're like, what the fuck? I want that. Why don't we have that? And somebody like Saylor, as fucked up as he is, as much as his view of Bitcoin is like literally the antithesis of Satoshi, because he wants it to keep corporations and banks alive. And he said a couple of months ago, I remember this, he let it drop on a podcast, just randomly popped out of him. His ideal world, his dream future for Bitcoin or for his company is his company loans Bitcoin to a bank. That bank loans Bitcoin to you. You do whatever you do, and his company makes interest off the loan. The bank takes all the risk. If the loan fails, the bank has to repay him whatever the dollar amount that the Bitcoin has gone up. So in his mind, his company loans out the Bitcoin to too big to fail banks, and if they lose, if the loan goes bad, the taxpayer ends up paying Michael Saylor. Once you are a big government parasite, always a big government parasite. So that's it. He just spit that out like randomly, talking to some people, because that's what's burning in his head. So that's his imaginary future, where too big to fail banks make him richer. And literally, Satoshi, created Bitcoin to end too big to fail banks. But guys like Saylor are good for Bitcoin because they say on TV, we're making $500 million a day. That excites the shit out of God knows how many fucking people, and they all want in on this. And that, if you are a Bitcoiner, if you're holding Bitcoin, is going to be very, very good for you. Not just materially, of course, but it's going to change so many fucking things. As in pursuit of the $500 million a day, people abandon a lot of things. So how do we know this is going to happen? We know it's going to happen because big dudes in government, particularly Trump's Treasury Secretary, is fucking balls deep. This is a longish clip, 3 minutes 39 seconds, of a guy named Howard Lutnick. I don't know if you remember that name. I'll fill you in the details of that on the other end of the video. But here's Donald Trump's pick for U.S. Secretary of the Treasury.
So let me talk Bitcoin for a little bit. I want to be clear. I am a fan of Bitcoin. Of course, do I own Bitcoin? Of course I do. Cantor Fitzgerald and all of its partners are a fan of Bitcoin. Does Cantor Fitzgerald own Bitcoin? A shed load of Bitcoin.
I have one last question for you before I let you go. How rich are you?
And how much of your net worth is in Bitcoin? Because if I don't ask you, everyone will be really mad at me.
If you took my stake in my public companies, which is public, and you did the public math, you'd see a couple of $1 billion.
Okay.
Okay. And then at least a couple of $1 billion. And then you'd have, what's Cantor worth? Yeah, I'm not saying. Okay. But things are good for me. How about that? Is that a nice way to say it? Since Cantor owns the stakes in the other companies, it's good for me. So, and I have
the percentage. You don't have to say exact number, but how do you think about either you or Cantor?
I don't have a big enough percentage. I probably have, no, I can't say because then people can figure out that no, how much I have. I would say I have hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
Okay. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars exposure to Bitcoin. And it will be billions.
I was going to say, so next year when you come back and we'll do this again and you'll be a Bitcoin billionaire and,
yeah, but you remember that model I told you. So if every time Bitcoin dips, I'm going to be the buyer. Right?
Trust me, I know why you're doing the lending.
It's all coming. You figured it out.
Listen, you don't have to explain that one around here.
So yeah, I got the 50% Bitcoin. I got the Bitcoin lending, but basically what you're going to see is Cantor Fitzgerald is going to be the sponsor of Bitcoin into traditional finance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be the leader of it. And I'll pull out this podcast in years to come and say, see, I told you, because no one's going to remember.
Of course.
Right. But all the banks, after we do it and show people how to do it right, they'll all copy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the asset of Bitcoin will just, as it becomes more accepted, it will become more valuable. And the whole Bitcoin nation should just call it a commodity, never a currency.
Mm-hmm.
Just call it a commodity. Because if it's a currency, you're attacking the politicians of the country,
mm-hmm.
right? You're trying to replace my currency with yours.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, hey, I'm just oil, I'm just gold,
mm-hmm.
I'm just a commodity, leave me be, right? Then they'll leave you be. And that is true. And it will be why Bitcoin, which is rare and is special, will become ever more rare, as we both know,
mm-hmm.
ever more valuable over time. It'll be financed just like gold is, right? Gold is, it's not like super financeable, but it's financeable. Oil,
mm-hmm.
it's not super financeable,
mm-hmm.
but it's financeable, right? Bitcoin will be financeable. Bitcoin will be way, way, way higher, sometimes lower. You just have to have faith.
Yeah, you don't have to have faith. You have to be able to do math and understand human nature. So that's the Howard Lutnick, the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, which was on the 93rd floor of World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. The Cantor Fitzgerald's a Wall Street firm. They're worth X number of billions. He says he's worth a couple of billion, and he has hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin. And he knows it's going to become billions of dollars. The entire US federal government is behind Bitcoin now. And I would argue that they tried to kill it and they failed. And they've decided if you can't beat them, join them. And what that's going to look like is Bitcoin skyrocketing, what's sometimes called a super cycle, which, again, if you're a bit of an OG Bitcoiner or you dig back into the archives, which you probably have. But after 2016, people looked at the previous halvings, like Bitcoin went from a couple of $100 to $1,000, then it fell back down. And then it went from $1,000 to $10,000 or $20,000. Tens of thousands of dollars. And then it fell back down. And the expectation was in 2020 that Bitcoin would go into the hundreds of thousands range. So 100,000 to whatever. And then perhaps settle back down. Well, that didn't happen in 2020. Bitcoin went from, it passed its $20,000 threshold, previous threshold, got to $69,000, hit an invisible ceiling and crashed back down to like 16-ish. And now we are hovering right around 100K. So why did that happen? Happened for a number of different reasons, part of which involve Binance and Changpeng Zhao and the CIA and the deep state and all the bankers squashing Bitcoin. And if you think, well, James, you're just some fucking dude living in a one-bedroom apartment in fucking New Jersey. You're living a one-bedroom lifestyle. This is your flop sweat conspiracy theory. Yeah, I'm not the only one. There's people who make a little bit more money, who have more material wealth than I do, who are not living in a one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey, who have similar thoughts. Let me introduce you to the one and only Mooch, Anthony Scaramucci.
The way I see it, in many respects, and I'm not talking about politically, I'm not talking about culturally, I'm not talking about emotionally, but you and your firm have made out pretty damn well in this election, haven't you?
Oh, you mean because of Bitcoin, you mean?
Well, yes.
For now, I mean, listen, you know, a lot of things have to go right, and the market is pricing a near perfect regulatory situation and a perfect Secretary of the Treasury and a perfect SEC commissioner, et cetera. So a lot of things have to go right. But yes, I mean, it's been a big move. But since we're just talking specifically right now about Bitcoin, I would maintain to the people in this room that Bitcoin is at the price that it should have been at in January of 2022. And just hear me out for a second. The cash ETF should have been approved January, February of 2022. It was blocked by Gary Gensler. Lawsuits ensued. The court ruled in favor of the industry. If you go to law school and take administrative law, there's a clause in administrative law that you can't be arbitrary or capricious with the administration of the law, and he clearly was doing that. So he did something to the industry that held back pricing and held back where we are today. So I think where we are today is just a reflection of where we should have been. Now, before we go to the next question, I will say this about Gary. He didn't do this on purpose, but he actually saved the industry, because by blocking the Bitcoin cash or spot ETF, it exposed the weaknesses in the industry. It exposed FTX and Celsius and 3 Arrow, and we had this capitulation and collapse and deleveraging, which, you know, I mean, I was getting killed back then, as you know. Okay, you have very friendly journalists, I mean, that write about me when I'm getting my ass kicked. But anyway, and I stayed in those positions and obviously being rewarded now. But if Gary didn't do that, I think we would be living in a world of Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't think that fraud could have necessarily been exposed. So, you know, we do need regulation, and we do need propitious and mindful regulation.
Okay, so that's Anthony Scaramucci, who was briefly Trump's spokesperson. He's a Wall Street bro, shows up on CNBC. He's married to a Jewish woman, so his kids, I guess, are Jewish. And what he said was that Bitcoin was suppressed. The price was artificially suppressed deliberately by Gary Gensler and the SEC by failing to approve the Bitcoin ETF back in 2020. It was that and the CIA front company known as Binance trading against its own members, people that were buying Bitcoin on Binance. There were forces behind the scenes buying put options, driving the price down, basically doing like psych warfare on people who were looking to make a quick buck, knock the price down so that you sell, and then Bitcoin, you know, sort of goes away. This was a big effort. A lot of people were claiming this in like 2017, 2018. It sounded crazy, but now it doesn't sound, looking back, 2020 hindsight, it doesn't sound so crazy. And guys like Scaramucci, who understand the high-end financial aspect of it, certainly saw the same exact thing, but from a different perspective, of course, right? Now, Scaramucci says, but, you know, because all these guys are pussies, because none of these motherfuckers could ever take a risk. None of them ever do anything that isn't fucking like lock guaranteed. Scaramucci goes, well, you know, but Gary Gensler was really good because he exposed FTX, and we would be living in a world that if it wasn't for the heroic actions of Gary Gensler, who's a Goldman Sachs guy, who supposedly was a professor who at MIT who taught a class on Bitcoin. Bullshit. I've not that he wasn't a professor at MIT, and not that he didn't teach a class. He just doesn't understand it, right? His job as a Goldman Sachs bro was to hold this thing down and crush it, and he failed. Bitcoin lived despite the best efforts of Gary Gensler in the public face of the SEC, the regulatory agency within the United States, and the best efforts of the boys and the scumbags at fucking Langley, Virginia, who set up the Binance as their fucking front company to use Bitcoin. Bitcoin was used to pay off all the fucking evil minions of the CIA around the world. That's what it was set up for. That's why the CIA first fell in love with it. It was a completely anonymous way to pay people to do things around the globe that could not be traced back to the US government. And this is something they had fantasized about for decades. And they finally had it with this technology. And they fell in love with it the way a crackhead falls in love with cocaine. At some point, they decided to try to kill it for whatever reason, because they thought it was a threat to the current economic order. It most definitely is. And they try to crush it, but it didn't work. And now they're going to try and embrace it and direct it, but that's still not going to work. It's a very, very exciting time to be alive right now. It's a super fucking exciting time to be alive. I look forward to fucking it to every fucking day, knowing that that the battle is really going to be joined, and that Bitcoin, which from the point of view of the American deep state, was a tool to overthrow foreign governments, the Russian government with Navalny, Maduro, or what's his name, the other dude in fucking Venezuela, God knows whatever else they've done. That same tool is going to be used against the federal government by people who have no idea they're even doing it. It's going to be so fucking beautiful. It's super fucking, for me, people like me, super fucking exciting. And so, Michael Saylor with I'm making $500 million a day, and freaking out every greedy psychopath in the world to try and get into Bitcoin. Man, this is going to be fucking fantastic, beautiful and fantastic. And I'm not kidding you. It's a very exciting time to be alive. You were born too late to explore the planet, too soon to explore the stars, but you were born just in time to participate peacefully and legally in the war to destroy central bank. So we've had some comments in the meantime, spamming all that, the Unit 8200 spamming the fuck out of the chat. Let's look at what he has to say. Ukrainians are proto-Mystic. That is not old Soviet stuff, you clown. It's a Ukrainian song from 2022. I'm talking about the video, you fucking matzo munching moron. Ukrainians are proto-Mesopotamians. A lot of people like us who are against Russian communism held a remembrance of the Holodomor this weekend by lighting a candle. Yeah, no, you just fucking, I doubt that. I just really, really doubt that. Did you have ChatGPT write that? Trump, Bitcoin, BLM, and Antifa. What year are we in? We are in 2025. Ukrainians are proto-Mesopotamians. See you next week. What he's bragging about is that he can come into the chat anytime he wants and say what he wants, but I can ignore him like I have the entire fucking thing. What this dickhead doesn't understand is I'm looking at a screen that's this fucking big, right? And as I click the little buttons between recording, brand, banners, this, that, I sometimes fuck it up, right? I sometimes hit a button like this and it all comes out right. And I go, hey, remember to smash up that like button. Now, mind you, that fucking Unit 8200 twat is going to fucking remove your like, but make them do it anyway. Make them work. Make them earn the paycheck that they steal from the American taxpayer. And all the way for me, from my perspective, on the left is the comment section, which I pay attention to sometimes and don't pay attention to other times. Sigs and Codes, congratulations on getting here, man. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'm not sure precisely what you mean, but when was I not here? I was here more than anyone else was here. I've been here for quite some time. And to scrape this off the face of the fucking planet once and for all is my explicitly stated goal. And a lot of people who have no idea that they're even doing it, will accomplish this. He's talking about long-term, Sigs and Codes, long-term holding on BTC. There are some people, I don't remember if it was you or somebody else that said, when Bitcoin hits 150K, I'm going to sell it and pay off some land. I don't think that's a smart strategy. Bitcoin is going to appreciate in fiat terms much faster than the land. Find a way to pay off whatever real estate you have without selling the Bitcoin. Okay. In the post 2016, there was a concept of super cycle, right? That Bitcoin would rise and just keep rising. It wouldn't rise to a crest and crash anymore. That it would just keep rising. That didn't happen in 2020. Will it happen this time? Well, there's a lot of fucking tailwinds. There are a lot of very favorable, really, Wall Street, they put Trump back in and all this shit. The point is, you own something, right, that they cannot dilute, they cannot steal from you, and they cannot inflate away from you. And this has, right now, because the US dollar is the unit of account. Everything's measured in dollars, right? It's not measured in Deutschmarks or rubles or yen or fucking kroner or whatever, pesos. The unit of account right now is the US dollar. And so we measure Bitcoin in US dollars. It's worth $100, $1,000, blah, 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 or 100K. It'll be 100K this week. Eventually, that will flip, right? Eventually, the unit of account will be Bitcoin, and you will measure dollars in Bitcoin. How many dollars does it take to get how much Bitcoin? That's coming. I don't know how soon it's coming, but it's most definitely. Will the US dollar be a permission slip issued by a private bank in the future? I think no. The US dollar, as we currently understand it, will not be a permission slip issued by a bank, a private bank, owned 80% by the small hats. That's just not going to be what it's going to be. And for you to have something that you can pass down to your children and your grandchildren that will grow in value faster than everything else is something you need to keep in mind. Find a different way to pay off your land or do whatever you're going to do. Because scraping that serpent off the face of the earth involves a peaceful and legal destruction of central banking. And that comes from participating in an economic system that equally rewards everyone who participates in it. I know Michael Saylor has 80 gazillion Bitcoins and I only have a much smaller stack. But when his Bitcoin goes up 10%, my Bitcoin goes up also 10% at the exact same time. And this is, you mustn't lose sight of this. This is the most important invention in all of human history. Wealth that cannot be stolen from you. Wealth that has to be earned. This is so fucking big, it's very hard to wrap your mind. Very hard for anyone to remember. Because we were born into debt slavery and the green paper fucking that says, US dollars with the pyramid, and it's got the eyeball, the pyramid, and people get all fucking spun up about stupid bullshit. What's this symbolism mean? What that symbolism mean? Listen, you've been robbed every day of your life. Okay, your parents were robbed, probably your grandparents. Okay, this goes back hundreds of years. and even further. The fact that this can end, and that it will end, and that you can participate in this by trading their shitty fucking paper fucking receipts for something that is permissionless and free. Because you were born, listen to me, whatever you fucking think, you were born to live happy and free. Whether you know that or not, whether you believe that or not, that's what you were born for, okay? And you can't have that, or very few people can have that, under the current system. And yeah, to eliminate the current economic system should be the goal of every thinking person on the fucking planet. So what's it going to say? Not getting greedy. It is BTC, James. You can do both. Yeah, we have to. There's going to be a transition phase. There's always a transition phase. But we're going to fucking win, and that to me super exciting, because they have failed in every attempt to destroy us, and we are going to fucking destroy them. I've been at this now 1 hour, 36 minutes. Man, look at this. Look at the efforts I put in on behalf of you peoples, you anti-Mossad peoples. Smash up the like button. You're still here. Where's Virgil Dark Purple Heart? Where's, what's his name? Judas Lai Chai. Judas Lai Chai got so much money as the base rich Persian dude, probably at that meeting of centi millionaires, figuring out what Bitcoin futures is going to be. Six and codes. Hold long term, maintain your lifestyle, ride the cycle. It works and is now hitting mass adoption. Yeah, we're going to win. No matter what they do, we are going to win. Pay off your house and hand something down to your progeny. Exactly, sir. In the chat, Six and Codes, a very clear thinking man who understands. Few understand, and Six and Codes is one of those few. All right. With that, I ran a little long. This weekend, for everybody in the upcoming week in America and around the world, happy Thanksgiving. Stuff your turkey with Bitcoins or whatever. Stupid. Fuck, that was a dumb meme. That was dumb to say, but whatever. Wishing you and everyone around you all the best in this coming year. And 2025, despite everything they're going to throw at us, we are going to prevail over them. Abso-fucking-lutely. We're going to win this thing. All right. Sigs and Codes and everyone lurking, everyone in the background, everyone that StreamYard is lying that is not here because it says I only have one viewer. I probably got 20. Talk to you guys again next week.